Fred Astaire was never out of breath when those numbers were over, but I sure am. We have a great privilege tonight. Our guest, he's the one that put Fred Astaire on the ceiling and on the walls. It was his idea, and he somehow managed it. Did the Gene Kelly films and so many great things. Please welcome one of the loveliest gentlemen and most talented artists in our American film world, Stanley Donen.
Thank you. What we have just witnessed is, in my opinion, a miracle, because for me to see John Williams and this remarkable orchestra play that music to the number we did, I don't know, 45 years ago or so, is spectacular for me, and I'm overwhelmed. And it sounded great, and it was absolutely in sync beyond belief. And
I'm longing to ask you, all of us, the orchestra, myself, everyone that knows you and those that don't, how did you do that?
I decided to have Fred Astaire dance on the ceiling and the walls, because he seemed to be someone to me who was without gravity. We put the room inside a giant wheel. Can you put it back to the start, please? Yeah. We put the room inside a giant wheel. We screwed the camera to the floor, and the camera never saw outside the walls. And the lights, of course, were also fixed. So when the room turned, the lights turned, the camera turned, and Fred Astaire remained on the floor, and the floor became, we'll now start it going slowly.
Why didn't the curtains flop?
Well, the curtains and the things were all made solid, so there were no soft objects in the room. Everything, the curtains were glued to wood.
I see.
And as it turned, now he's on the side wall, but the camera, you see, is going to pretty soon be upside down. And now Fred is dancing on the ceiling, which to him is the floor. But the camera, because it's upside down, thinks it looks to the camera like he's on the ceiling. We rehearsed for a couple of weeks, but when we filmed it, it was about an hour and a half. We just whisked through it.
I'm longing to know also, how did you get to Hollywood, and tell us a little bit about how all this happened.
When I was 9 years old, I used to go to the movies every afternoon, and I saw Fred Astaire, and there was some sort of explosion went off inside me. So at 9 years old in South Carolina, I decided to dance, because it seemed to me that was the magic. I didn't know anything else. The day I finished high school, I said to my family, I want to go to New York to get a job on Broadway. You
were very shortly thereafter were at MGM, and you did some very manly dances indeed. Tell us a little bit about that, the famous Seven Brides number, and how all that happened.
All right. Well, a quick segue from Broadway to, I was now directing movies. And we were going to make a film from a Stephen Vincent Benet story called Sobbin' Women. And it was about some backwoodsmen living in the Oregon woods who had absolutely no culture. And so I said I wanted all these brothers, these seven brothers, to be dancers. And I thought MGM was going to have a conniption fit. And they said, you know, that's not possible. Backwoodsmen don't dance. They are not, you know, and I said, no, they're not going to be on point, don't worry. They're going to be, and they said, well, it's not a masculine activity, dancing. And I said, oh, yes, it's a very masculine activity.
Very athletic, certainly.